Welcome back, episode 2, Hot Rod Road Trip. Thanks for coming by, and thanks for your views. What we're going to work on today is something that if anyone's ever driven a 30s or 40s car, you're going to know how brutal they are for blind spots. I know in my 32 sedan, you know, it's real bad. I remember growing up in my dad's 32 and him always saying the same thing. So when I built mine, I made sure to put in a camera on the back. I've got it hooked to the stereo, and then when I pull a camper, I've got a camera on it too, that I have an actual bigger screen so I can see what's going on out back of the camper. So what we're going to be doing today is we've got a 1940 Ford Sedan, beautiful car. We're going to be working on that one. We're going to be putting a backup camera on it, but it's also what I like to consider a blind spot camera, in that it's not just for backing up. It's not going to be hooked up just to your backup lights. It's going to be hooked up on ignition hot. So you've got that option of using the camera. Nice wide angle. It's really works well for any kind of blind spots in these older cars. Let's get after it. So I've already checked, and there is access to this panel here. There's this kind of a bottom piece, and there's access to the top side of this through under the carpet in the trunk. So I'm going to mark this off and drill it and mount the camera in here. All right, well, as with anything, vehicles that a person hasn't built, you don't know how it's all put together. So what I'm working on right now is trying to figure out how I'm going to get the wire from in the trunk. I've already ran it up to the seat, which was simple enough, just had to put it behind some of the panels. No big deal, but I'm trying to now figure out where I can get it from the trunk into the inside. So I've ran my hand around, found out where I can feel into the trunk. So now I'm going to go run the wire down to where I can get inside, and then see if I can't tuck it along. Let's keep going. Victory. All right, yeah. Okay, so what I'm working on right now is trying to find out how the heck these things work. These are a strange sill plate that I am not familiar with, in that they don't seem to have any screws. I'm sure the screws are hidden under the carpet, but I don't want to go ripping the carpet up. And I've checked under this rubber piece here. There's nothing under the rubber. So yeah, these are a different piece, but they do seem to have an inner lip in here, so a person can run at least this small wire through this channel. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, it ran nicely through that channel there, tucked in just beautifully. So home stretch. Here's where we're at. We're going to undo this kick panel here, run it up, and then we're under the dash, and we're pretty much where we need to be. We'll just zip it over and we'll be there, and then we'll work on the screen mount. Okay, so here's the screen that we're going to be mounting, and I've whipped up this little bracket. Nothing too exciting or special. It's just a cabinet hinge bracket from your local Home Depot, and then built a little mount for the screen. I've done several of these brackets. I've got a couple of them in multiple cars, and they actually work great. Long time use and quite simple to fabricate. So this one works good. And we're going to stick that right up. Come on, where are we here? There we go. We're going to put it right kind of beside the steering column, right up here. I'd like to have it a little bit more towards the center, but this knob here is kind of screwing us because it's, I believe it's a headlight switch that's mounted on it. So I can't drill into the dash because it is directly under it, so I won't be able to get a bolt or nut or anything in there. So I'll move it over just a little bit towards the column, and we'll go from there. So time to mount this guy up.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Okay, so brief disruption. I did not like the way the screen was mounted when I put it in there on just the stock style hinge that I had. So what it was doing is it was hitting the dash underneath when it was flipped up, so it didn't flip up very high. And then when it folded down, it was, let's say, coming to a 90, where I wanted it to go past, because then it's easier for the person when they're sitting to see the screen. So just doing a little bit of a rebuild on the bracket there. Quick piece of metal bent up and gonna weld it to the other bracket. Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly. All right, and the finished product, simply just put a little more length to that and put a little extra depth to it. Got a couple of mounting holes here just in case we need any more adjustment. And we're ready to bolt it in, give it a shot. Okay, bracket is done and in, and it does exactly what I wanted it to, in that it folds, like here is where it was before, and it goes way beyond. So when you're in the seat, you can get a perfect view of it, and it folds real nice. So when you're up sitting, you cannot even see it. Perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is probe a few wires, find ourselves a nice ignition hot, and get a little wiring done. Okay, so got the wiring. Not much to this, really. Where are we here? So I don't know if any of you guys use these. These are something I've started using recently. They're kind of cool with the, you heat them and the solder melts through, and it shrink wraps them too, all in one step. Pretty cool. Kind of saves a little bit of time too. So got that to our power. We've got our video feed hooked up, and then that's just our power plug for what we just ran into the power here. So now I have all of this wire, all sorts of it here. That is the fun part next of just tying it up. Simple enough, but you don't want to leave that shit hanging all over the place. So I'm going to roll it all up, zip tie it, and tuck it up under the dash so it's out of the way and looks nice and clean. Okay, a few last things in the trunk. Going to tighten the bolt on the camera, on the nut rather, where it comes into the trunk. Tie up a little bit of the wiring and then put the trunk panels back together. Okay, wiring is tied up in the trunk and under the dash. We are looking pretty good here. Let's take the protector off. All right, get the key. Oh yeah, beauty. Look at that. Nice and clear. No obstructions. You look side to side, you can actually see both tips in it, so you know where your exhaust tips are even when you're backing up. This will stay on all the time, as it's nice to have, like I say, for those blind spots. So it's a real wide angle here. As you can see, straight out the back where we drove this in, there's nothing out back here. And now this is off to the side, and this is off to the other side. So you can see both vehicles back there. Excellent. I'll also show you, this is about from where the driver sits in here. Good view of it. And you just go like that. It disappears when you don't want to see it. Nice and clean. Excellent. So that about does it, I guess, for this episode. Hey, look at that. Nice nice interior light there. Reminds me of one I've seen in an AMC, which I believe is taken out of a 70s Ford, but same looking unit. I need one of those. Anyways, thanks for watching, and hey, we'll catch you on the next Hot Rod Road Trip. Take care.